Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining me today because we are diving into a massive paradigm shift in the world of modern IT operations and governance. If you're an IT leader, a CISO, or really anyone dealing with the daily chaos of managing a huge digital estate, you already know that keeping everything secure, compliant, and cost-effective is a monumental task. Today we're unpacking a breakthrough solution called ZioSet. We're going to look at the exact mechanics of how governed automation is completely transforming this landscape. So let's jump right in and look at what's actually going wrong in modern enterprises before we figure out how to fix it.
Here's the thing. Most enterprises don't have an IT visibility problem. They have a truth problem. We've all been there, thinking that if we just buy another dashboard or deploy another scanning tool, we'll finally have visibility. But honestly, the sheer volume of data isn't the solution. It's usually part of the problem. You've got spreadsheets on one screen, security alerts on another, cloud dashboards piling up everywhere, and audit emails demanding answers. You have data everywhere, but you don't have a single source of truth.
And the reason that truth is so elusive is because we are living in a completely disjointed reality. You might have your hardware tracked in one specific tool, your software licenses sitting in an entirely different platform, and your critical security patches, well, they're probably just sitting there waiting in a ticketing queue. But here's the actual truth. Your IT estate is literally changing every single hour, yet your tools might only be updating every quarter. That disconnect is massive. Trying to bridge that gap with manual effort isn't IT governance. As anyone on the ground will tell you, that is simply heroics on repeat. Section 1. The 3 unanswered questions, a daily scramble for data. Question number 1. What do we actually own? I mean, it sounds so incredibly basic, right? But think about the frustration of a distributed workforce. You've got remote workers logging in off the VPN, devices shifting locations constantly, new virtual hardware being spun up. Simply knowing the absolute baseline of your physical and virtual landscape is a huge hurdle when your periodic scans go stale almost immediately.
And that instantly brings us to question 2. What are we licensed for? This right here is where the budget just bleeds. Because your tracking tools are stuck in silos, your software license positions drift rapidly over time. People leave the company, or they just stop using an application, but you keep paying for those seats. Without a constant source of truth, you're looking at some really substantial license waste across the organization.
Then there's the third question. And honestly, this is the terrifying one for any security pro out there. What is still vulnerable? When your patches are just a growing backlog in a ticketing system, your security exposure grows by the day. You see those red, non-compliant flags popping up, but tracking down exactly which machine needs which patch and getting it deployed across a fragmented system, it's a total nightmare.
So when the CISO or the board or an auditor walks in and asks those 3 questions, what is the honest answer IT teams are usually forced to give? Give us 2 weeks. Ouch. That is so painful to admit, but it's the reality for so many teams. Because the tools don't talk to each other, the data isn't current, and it literally takes weeks of manual labor exporting CMDB databases and cross-referencing license spreadsheets just to figure out what the estate looked like 2 weeks ago.
So what's the fallout here? This gap between how fast your IT estate changes and how slow your tools update has severe consequences. We're talking about a landscape filled with unknown assets lurking around. We're talking about mounting license waste from unused software. We're talking about really dangerous patch exposure. And of course, that inevitable audit scramble, where everyone drops what they're doing to frantically search for compliance evidence that should have just been there all along. This is the exact problem that desperately needs solving, moving us from a chaotic, reactive environment to a state of absolute control.
Which brings us to Section 2, Introducing Agentic ZioSet, the unified operating system for your estate.
Let's define exactly what this is. ZioSet is the agentic AI platform for modern IT operations. Now, pay close attention to that word, agentic. We aren't just talking about another static reporting dashboard that flashes red when something is wrong and then just waits around for you to fix it. This is an active, intelligent platform designed to completely transform how the estate is managed by taking action on its own within the boundaries you set. And it does this by completely tearing down those silos we talked about earlier. ZioSet brings together 3 unified modules. You've got ZioSet ITAM for your hardware and device lifecycle. You have ZioSet SAM, controlling your license positions and cutting out software waste. And you've got ZioSet ESM, handling your patching and endpoint compliance. But here is the real magic. These aren't just 3 separate tools slapped together. They share one single agent and one unified data layer. They actually talk to each other. It's basically one operating system for your entire estate.
All right, Section 3. The continuous 5-stage loop, moving from one-time cleanup to continuous automation.
Instead of some linear project that goes stale the minute you finish it, ZioSet runs this continuous, never-ending loop. Stage 1, discover. Stage 2, track. Stage 3, analyze. Stage 4, optimize. And Stage 5, govern. It's a living, breathing system. Let's break down exactly what happens in these stages, because this is where the heavy lifting gets taken completely off your team's shoulders.
It all kicks off with discover and track. These really lightweight agents run locally on your endpoints, which means your hardware, software versions, and configurations are always current, even for those remote devices sitting way off the VPN. Because this tracking is continuous, your ownership data, entitlements, and patch levels stay completely live. You can finally say goodbye to those endless, frustrating email chains asking, "Hey, who currently has this laptop?" The system simply knows. From there, we move right into analyze and optimize. The dashboards do surface the immediate risks, things like unallocated assets, idle software licenses, or missing security patches. But here is where the optimize part kicks in. Governed workflows actually step in and trigger the right action. The system can automatically reclaim an unused license, or redeploy hardware, or patch a specific ring of devices. And it does all of this strictly within the policies you've already defined.
And that loops us into the final stage, govern. Since the system is always discovering, tracking, and optimizing, every single material change is automatically logged. You are continuously generating audit-ready evidence. When the auditor knocks on your door, there is absolutely zero panic. The scramble is completely gone, because the evidence has been meticulously building itself in the background every step of the way.
Moving on to Section 4, agentic action under governance, fixing problems instead of just reporting them.
You know, the old way relies heavily on static dashboards. And hey, they're great at pointing fingers and telling you exactly what's broken, but they leave you with a massive to-do list. ZioSet completely flips the script. It doesn't just point out the problem, it acts. The agent detects a vulnerability, maps the endpoints, orchestrates the patch, and verifies it. It takes autonomous action, but always, and this is absolutely crucial, strictly within the rules and boundaries you defined. So how does it actually pull this off? It really comes down to 4 key capabilities in agentic IT operations. First, agent-based discovery, which gives you that deep, real-time visibility. Second, AI-driven software classification, so the system instantly understands what applications are actually running. Third is autonomous patch orchestration, which is a real game changer for those third-party apps that always seem to fall through the cracks. And fourth, strict role-based access. This makes sure that while your automation scales up massively, you never lose control over who gets to authorize what. It senses, it decides, and it executes, all under strict governance. Of course, the ultimate test of any system is the outcomes, right? When you apply this governed automation to your estate, just look at the concrete results. Your visibility goes way up across all hardware and software. Meanwhile, your waste goes down, as unused licenses and duplicate buys are automatically reclaimed. Your audit prep time drops off a cliff because you have these continuous automated trails of evidence. And most importantly for security, your exposure window shrinks dramatically because vulnerabilities are patched autonomously. The big takeaway? IT teams can finally stop firefighting and leadership can finally stop guessing. So, I want to leave you with a pretty important question to chew on right now. Take a hard look at your current setup, your current tools, your daily workflows, and ask yourself, can you see your IT estate the way it actually runs today? Not how it ran last quarter or 2 weeks ago when you pulled that last report, but today, right now. If the answer to that is no, then the way you manage IT operations probably needs an upgrade. If you want to bridge that gap between the data you have and the truth you actually need, it's time to look at governed automation. You can see this whole process, discover, track, analyze, optimize, and govern in action for yourself. Just head over to ZionID.com and book a demo. It's time to transform your estate from a daily scramble into a continuous automated system. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning and ask yourself, are you ready to stop guessing and finally know the truth?